Hey guys, welcome to the Trash Picture Show. Today I'm doing 4 questions. An Anthropomantic Fiends heavy horror tag. This is a tag all centered around the connection between horror and heavy metal. And thanks to my friends in secondary school, I actually got into metal. I wasn't originally into metal music until, say, my late teens, early 20s, but thanks to my friend Shan, Rose, and Barry, I got into the likes of, say, Ramstein, Perfect Circle, Slipknot, and a whole other, including Alice in Chains. That's more grunge, but I did kind of get a love for grunge, but also have a love for metal music. So thanks to my friends, I did embrace a lot of metal bands, which it goes to show that some people can be exposed to music from, say, the likes of the radio or their parents or so, or the like if you're brought up in a household that listens to metal music, you'll probably embrace it a lot more and a lot earlier, where for me in secondary school or high school, as you might call it, I got exposed to through my friends. A lot of my friends, like myself, were outcasts, and they listened to alternative kind of music, and that's a cool thing. That's to have a connection like that, and for it to feed a kind of love and reverence of a particular thing is very cool. But I digress. Back to Antro's questions. It's a really cool tag. It's very concise. So, question one: what horror movie do you think blends horror and metal the best? I would have to go with Richard Stanley's Hardware. This is a dystopian sci-fi horror that centers around a homicidal robot pursuing a woman in her futuristic apartment complex. The cool thing about this movie is, while it has an awesome kind of synth metal soundtrack by Simon Boswell, it also has some amazing tracks from the likes of Public Image Limited. You might know the lead singer, that is Johnny Rotten, and that song is called Order of Death. And the way the song is presented, it just kind of gives you the vibe and feel of this world that people, not only machines but people, are basically, they're on an assembly line. They're just being fucking pushed out like some kind of machine or product, and it's kind of, it's a very cold and unfeeling kind of tune. And the start of it, this is what you want, this is what you get. It's just real kind of, it pushes forward that this is a very nasty kind of mechanized world to live in, and people are as kind of separated from their humanity as much as machines. And the other one would be, I think, Ministry, Stigmata. Yeah, Ministry's song Stigmata is a very cool kind of heavy, kind of angry metal kind of song, where you have the robot. I think it starts to assemble itself, and Jill had already, that Nancy Travis's character had already started to assemble it, and then it starts putting itself together, and it's just real fucking angry. If you could get in the mindset scent of this fucking malvoyant savage robot with a drill for a dick, you'd kind of realize that this is a very fucking nasty piece of shit of a robot. The cool thing is, in the movie, and I'm probably diverging from Antro's kind of point to the question. The movie, it portrays the future not in a very kind of clean and pristine light, but everything is just grimy and rusty and dirty. The city is grimy and rusty and dirty, and even the robot is ugly looking. Again, like with the Terminator endoskeleton, it's iconic, but there's also a sleekness to it. But not with Mark 13. Mark 13 is just this fucking, it's essentially fucking vacuum cleaner of fucking death. And the music lends itself to that when it's cobbling itself together in a very aggressive fashion, pulling wires and bits of machinery. Another cool thing about the movie is you also get music from the likes of Iggy Pop. Lemmy is also in there. They cameo. Iggy Pop is the voice of the man on the radio. Lemmy is kind of a post-apocalyptic taxi driver, and the movie is opened by Carl McCoy. I think he's the lead singer of a band called Fields of Nepotism, which I didn't know anything about till I was talking to Antro. He told me about him, and he's the kind. His character is the reason the whole fucking shit show starts. So yeah, if you are a fan of kind of real industrial, synthy kind of metal, check out Hardware because it has an awesome soundtrack and it's also an awesome kind of sci-fi movie. So question two: what band do you think blends horror and metal the best? I have to go with Iron Maiden. Um, the iconography and look of the band is kind of synonymous with a very kind of horror theme. Their posters. I mean, my brother used to have Iron Maiden cassettes, and Eddie on the cover. There's one where like he has an axe. He's an axe covered in fucking blood and gore, and there's a woman or there's a woman's hand clutching his shirt, or the trooper, this fucking undead Napoleonic soldier just charging towards you. Just the art on on the posters and on the album covers and stuff just screams fucking horror. Just there's something very EC comic and Hammer horror about some of the covers. Just real nasty kind of artwork, but cool as well. Like you do get the sense that the band had a lot of love for horror, and their mascot Eddie is kind of evident to that, and also in their music. I mean, the name Iron Maiden. When you think of Iron Maiden, you think of maybe like Black Sunday, the kind of old. I don't know if it was a Hammer horror movie, but it was a Barbara Steele movie where she's a witch and she's literally put into an Iron Maiden, and there's the song "Number of the Beast." You like, there's no getting around what that's in about. It's a song about Satan, and again, they're a metal band. They're a British metal band that just fucking encompasses horror, and I would definitely put them up there as a big influence on like other kind of really kind of dark kind of dare I say satanic metal bands. I don't know. Would you class them as a satanic metal band? But you definitely class them as a kind of outlandish horror based band. So yeah, my answer for number two is Iron Maiden. Question three: correlate the metal subgenres you like with the horror subgenres you like. Well, I think I'm going to go back with hardware again in the likes of industrial metal and horror sci-fi because you see a lot of kind of sci-fi horror movies, particularly low budget ones. They get kind of music that is again industrial, or it sounds like something that will a factory. It sounds like a factory pumping out machines of death. Um, I think a prime example of this would be Nine Inch Nails. Nine Inch Nails has a very industrial. They're experimental, but they definitely have an industrial kind of twang to them, and you could just see one of their songs being featured in a post-apocalyptic kind of sci-fi horror. In fact, I think one of their songs was featured on the trailer for Terminator Salvation, if I'm not mistaken. I'm trying to think which one. It'll come back to me, but yeah, again, something with a sci-fi horror twist, and if you have industrial metal, um, it would really work. The likes of Nine Inch Nails and Tool also. If you've watched a music video by Tool and you come away and say that it's not horror influenced, I think you're fucking I think you're missing the point, because Tool's the whole thing with Tool is their music and their music videos are there to make you uncomfortable, and they're to make you think about subject matter you wouldn't, not that you wouldn't think about, you wouldn't like to think about. And I think Tool does a fantastic job doing that. Again, I ranted on. Question 4: do you think your favorite horror and metal subgenres are connected? Yes, absolutely. Um, as I was saying at the start of the video, a lot of people who listen to metal, you could brand them as outcasts, and these same kind of outcasts would watch the likes of horror movies. Again, my friend Barry Fitz, who got me into the likes of fucking Rammstein, likes of Alice in Chains, likes of Tool, the likes of Nine Inch Nails, he fucking adores horror. He also adores Cannibal Corpse. I mean, this guy is going around wearing a T-shirt of I think a pregnant woman, her baby's being eaten out of her belly by a zombie. That's, if that to you doesn't spell out the connection between fucking horror and metal, nothing will. Again, I think horror is a movie subgenre of outcasts for outcasts, and metal is a subgenre for outcasts. At the likes of uh, you look at the likes of Metallica, Kurt Kamet. I think he collects horror action figures. Alice Cooper, my God, he said he was influenced by a lot of the old kind of EC horror comics and Hammer horror from back in the day. So yeah, for me, the connection is the people who listen to it and watch it. It's a reverence. These people are pushed aside by society, and as a result, they embrace the darker elements of said society, like metal music and like horror music. So yeah, I definitely think there's a connection there. So that was Anthropomantic Fiends for heavy horror questions. They were fun. They definitely made me think. They made the grey matter turn, and yeah, I think you should give this a go. You should also check out the guy's channel. He's an awesome guy, and he's an incredibly talented musician as well. If I had to tag someone, I'd probably tag Jen's review from the graves, because I know Antro wanted her to do this. So I'll tag her also, so she's no excuse. And Dave Maggot. And I'm going to, hopefully he'll be okay with this, but I'm going to make this an open tag. So if anyone's watching this video, give it a go. So my name is Trash Picture Show. This has been Anthropomantic Fiends, heavy horror tag. Well worth a go. And yeah, have a good one. Take care. Bye now.